9 months ago, I reviewed these shoes. They were brand new at the time, and I was going to wait a year before I reviewed them again to do a follow-up. But I'm reviewing them today because I wore them, which turned out to be for the last time 2 days ago, to do an 8-mile run off-road, very muddy like this. And when I got towards the end of the run, I noticed something, and the thing that I noticed was this. Unfortunately, the soles are coming off the shoes. On this one here on the left side, it's actually going all the way through to the other side. So the actual sole of the shoe itself is literally about to fall off, which is a real shame. On the other shoe, they're starting to come off here too. I know that the soles of shoes are, I think they're glued on, as far as I understand, but it's a shame because these were my favourite. Of the two shoes that I did review, these were my favourite. These are the More Miles, and they cost about £35 in UK money, about $35 to $40 US. And they're great shoes. They're really comfortable. I have another pair. They're higher state sole shaker shoes, and I haven't worn them enough yet to review them, but I probably will in a few months' time. But these ones were more comfortable. They just felt softer and more padded. But I have to say, they have lasted me 9 months, and they've lasted me around about, I'd say about 200 miles. I haven't actually measured how many miles I run in them, but I would say it's about 200 miles. And on top of that, it might actually be my fault why the sole's fallen off. And the reason for that would be that I've done a few runs in these where I've gone out, they've got very wet, or maybe I've washed them at the end, and I've taken them off, and I've had to leave them outside in the garden because they're too wet and smelly. And I leave them for quite a long time, and it's winter at the moment. And last time that happened, they were still soaking wet when I went to get them. They've been out for like a week, and they had, you know, worms crawling all up them and things like that, and insects. And to be honest, that's probably what's done it. I can't say for certain, so it could be that these could have lasted me another 100 miles or so, or even more. But I'm not sure. But they've lasted around 200 miles, and I'm pretty sure if you looked after them really well, they last you at least 300, I would say. That's my estimate. And when you think, if you buy a more expensive pair of trail shoes, like Innovates or something like that, you're going to spend about 3 times the price, maybe more, on a similar pair of shoes that are probably only going to last you maybe another 100 miles more, if you're lucky. 300 to 400, maybe 500 miles. But these have done at least half of what you'd get out of a pair of Innovates, and they're a third of the price. So even if they only lasted you 200 miles and you ended up buying 3 pairs of them, you're going to get about 600 miles out of that for the price of a pair of Innovates, which you'd get probably 300 to 400 miles out of. But they're still a great pair of trainers. I'd definitely recommend them. In fact, I'm going to buy another pair when I get home. On a side note, I also bought some More Mile running socks. I've actually got some on now, these ones here, and they're great. I would definitely recommend them. They're really cheap, cheaper than a pair of, I think, 1,000 mile socks would cost, and they're better, I'd say. They're single skinned, but thick and padded, good quality material. I paid a really good price. I can't remember, I'll put it up on the screen. And they've lasted me quite a while so far, so I definitely recommend those. Apparently, a lot of the stuff that More Mile does is really good. I'm not endorsed by them or anything like that. I've just found that I've happened to come across a pair of their trainers and their socks, and I've tried them, and I think they're great. That's where we are with these shoes. Unfortunately, they're end of life, but they've had a good run, and I didn't really look after them that well, so I probably could have got another 100 miles out of them. So I still recommend these shoes. They're great shoes. Well, I hope you enjoyed that review. I hope you found it useful. If you did, let me know. And if you have a pair of More Miles, let me know in the comments how you've got on with them. I'd be interested to hear. Well, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. And if you have a pair of Innovates, not Innovates,